So I'm Varun Alag. I'm the co-founder, chief dad at Honasa Consumer. We build beauty and personal care brands for millennials and one company in India.
Hey, I'm Ghazal Alag, wife of Varun Alag, co-founder at Honasa Consumer Private Limited. We share the same dreams personally and professionally, so we are here to build not just a business but family together and moving together, which in itself is very exciting. Okay, so we started our business once we got married, and it all started with us having our first child, Agastya. I think before that, we were very well doing our own things. He was working with a lot of multinationals. I was an artist. I was painting. We were very happy in our own spheres, and yet, building a family together. So aspirations somewhere was similar. But I think once we had our son is where our personal and professional life got together and we started working together. It has been 6 years of building Mamaearth and 12 years of us being together, and an amazing, amazing journey till now. Add something?
No, I think while we did start the business after marriage, but the business started because we got married and had a baby. So I think it's not easy to answer that question. And in our case, it's pretty intertwined. I think there are similarities in how you do sort of anything and everything, right? If you in a relationship, there are a few sort of ground rules which are applicable to both personal and professional relationships, right? One is communication, and the better communicators you are with each other, the more openly you share your plans, your feelings, your vulnerabilities, your reactions and responses with each other, and it works out really well in both in professional and personal sphere. And so be it about our brand, or about our son, or about our relationship. And I think one thing that we have realized is that the more we communicate, the better we are able to manage things. And I think the second underlying emotion is trust. And I think the more you can trust each other with certain parts that you agree to sort of take on, right? And in both the spheres, you do sort of divide and conquer. And when you communicate, you also talk about, hey, which are the pieces that I want you to pick up, and which are the pieces that I want to pick up, right? And that happens at work as well as at home. And there, the clarity on what you're responsible for is important, and but also trust in each other that you will actually be able to do a fantabulous job at that, and I trust you completely with it, and is also equally important. And so I think these two, which is communication and trust, and are underlying emotions which work on personal and professional side, and at least has helped us do well on both the spheres.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think the third thing which we've been doing from day one, even before we started working together, was prioritizing each other equally, right? And respecting what makes more sense for the other person and taking care of the wishes, which is also, I think, a very important part of be it running a family together or a business together. That also helps us be happy. But Snigdha, I would like to add here, see, when you're building something together and you have the same dreams, that in itself is romancing, right? You're working towards the same goal. You guys are losing your sleep over something which is very close to both of us. So I think work in itself is very, very entertaining, and we enjoy doing that. But Other than that, I think we have a few rituals set for ourselves, like bi-weekly date nights. We ensure that we are giving each other time where we are not working and we're just talking to each other. How are we feeling? We are giving each other time to express, to share our deepest fears, to share our deepest secrets, or whatever that means.
And no transactional conversations in that date. Not about who will drop the kids to school, or what needs to be done about his football class, right? And or even work conversations, right? It is they are dedicated to talking about each other, right? They are dedicated to talking about emotional stuff, which we usually don't talk about on a day-to-day basis, right? And can be a little uncomfortable also to talk about, right? But is far more constructive in building of a relationship than the regular logistic stuff. No, in fact, we end up going on so many work trips together, and we make sure that whatever time is available to us, we treat those as small breaks where it's just the two of us. So there is advantages of working together. Yeah, you get to go on so many dates because you're traveling together. The first one, outsourcing to someone who was not a professional. I mean, I remember our wedding was in Chandigarh, and we were from Delhi, and 3-4 things which were supposed to be done there, and we passed it on to a few relatives like ye aap kar dena. And later we realized that actually a professional would have done a better sort of management of the same.
That's one.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was inviting a lot of people. Half the crowd that we as a couple did not even wish. It was a more intimate affair where you get a chance to talk to everybody who matters to you more, and hence less of formalities and more of enjoyment, because more the number of people, the lesser you enjoy as a couple. So I think that was one thing which I thought we did enjoy it a lot, but we could have been even more fun. So that one for me stands out. We need to give one.
That's okay.
No, that's हमने 2 ही गलतियां की थी, तीसरी नहीं की थी.
Firstly, I hope that you've planned to be with the right partner, and I hope you've had a lot of conversations which, like I said, are non-transactional conversations, right? Which are not around what you do, but around why you do, why you exist, why you behave in a certain manner, what are your insecurities, right? And have been vulnerable with them, and because this is start of a very long journey, and you both sort of owe it to each other to start this off on a very honest and a very deep, emotionally connected front. And so I think if there was one advice, I would say spend a lot more time, rather than going out partying and dating, and being in the company of each other and talking to each other about some of these things.
I think for me, it would be, like Varun said, that's the most important. Is your partner the right partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with? That should ideally get followed by doing what you guys enjoy at your wedding, rather than giving in to the social pressures of this is how stuff needs to be done and this is what we need to take care of. And I think a large part of that day itself, which is the big day for you, goes into giving into these pressures, right? Ye ceremony ke baad ye ceremony, and then you greet the people, and then you need to be decked up in a certain way. Thank God for minimal makeup looks which have come up now, because back then, if somebody got ready like that, at least at my time, they felt that the bride is not ready. So thank goodness for some of the change that is coming, but it's very important for the couple to enjoy that day together and have it as a cherished memory for the rest of it, because that day only comes once. So
And by the way, you can balance it out as well, because Indian weddings are not just about two people coming together, it's about two families coming together. And hence, it's also, you've got to keep in mind that your parents' emotions, dreams, are also completely involved and intertwined here. And so being completely on one side and saying, hey, no, I will do whatever I want to do, and not care about their emotions also might not be a fair. So you have to balance it out. You might want plan one day, and which is actually planned according to your wishes, right? And then you also would balance another day where you let go of everything and say, hey, I'm here, I am decked up and smiling, and whatever you want me to do, I am up for it, right? This is for you, right? So you got to balance both of them.
problem solving, also multitasking, difficult to give one. Depends on the situation, but mostly at work, mostly at home. So on the wedding day, early in the morning, we have this tradition where the girl is supposed to sit in diyas for a while for that glow to come in right after the Upton ceremony. And in that moment, I was a little bit emotional, and he walked in like a big surprise. You're not supposed to see the groom before the wedding on the wedding day, and he just walked in to my house with no. I think I loved that surprise so much, and that memory is still afresh. It was the high point of the day for me. One romantic thing that I would do. Yeah, we believe in keeping the romance alive on a weekly or a monthly basis, if I have to put it as per my calendarization. But yeah, I think he has a few wishes, one of which is for him to be able to fly a plane someday. I don't know how, but someday I would want to bring that to life. That's like a bigger one, a non-achievable one. There are a lot of achievable ones. For me, I have to figure it out, right? But there are a lot of others which I think we keep tracking each other's, those little wishes and keep fulfilling them in our way. But yeah, probably a good conversation to have the next time we go out and date.
Passion and compassion. So, like I said, we have we talk about this very often, and we have clear areas of division, and be it at home and at work, and where one can take advice from each other, but the final decision lies with one person, right? So, for example, at work, anything related to product and innovations and lies with Ghazal, and the final decision is hers, right? Similarly, certain other business areas, the final decision might lie with me. And Agastya's education, the decision finally will lie with her. While on extracurriculars, the final decision might lie. So I think we've got our areas, and we like to balance it out. I don't think one person should be taking all of the decisions. It's just not fair. Why should they be accountable for everything? So I remember, post-wedding, we were driving down from Chandigarh to Delhi, and for the 5 hours that we were driving down, and I held her hand throughout those 5 hours, and I think that's a very beautiful memory that goes to my. I have one other which is a pre-function memory, but it's slightly sort of R-rated,
no.
and I would like to keep it to myself. I think the one romantic thing, again, this is, like she said, is a bit of because we discuss this and do this every year. And, but one romantic thing that I would actually, there are a few very personal ones. I don't know if she would also like for me to talk about them. But in the short term, I wanna fly her to Louvre and spend like a couple of days with her. Right? She's been meaning to do that for a while, and we haven't had time. And probably that is one. And there are a lot of stuff that are buying related. And, but that list I've been checking off for the last few years, and I keep checking off every year.
Then
But our love language is more around spending time together and spending quality time together. And I think we all as couples should take the love language test. There's one advice I'll give, because we all like to experience love in different ways. And you must understand how your partner likes to experience love. And if they don't like to experience love in form of gifts, and they would rather cherish time spent as their love language, then optimize for that. No point sort of complaining, yeah, I give so many gifts, you're still not happy, because they don't experience love like that. And so knowing how they experience love is important. And for her, it's spending time and quality time together. So I think that's something that I want to do much more of.
He knows me really well, by the way. Sometimes better than I know myself.
One thing that you can expect us to keep doing is to keep listening to you, keep listening to your feedback, keep listening to your needs, and we will keep building her.
And we will keep creating products like Upton to make your weddings even more special. So don't forget to use that on your wedding.